I can never tell another show what to do. But I really enjoyed Boomer and Gio guessing what we would open with. I almost think that should be like a new segment when they're not sure. And I have to admit, I want to pivot because Boomer got it right. And that is we start with a little baseball on this fine Wednesday because the Picasso painting that David Stearns was trying to paint when he lost Pete Alonso and traded Brandon Nimmo is coming into full circle now. It's coming into clear picture. As late last night, the New York Mets traded for Luis Robert Jr. We get into the Mets aspect of things and also what this means for Cody Bellinger, who Yankee fans are waiting on, and we may get an announcement real soon. So first of all, as an IBO, as someone who repeatedly said to me, the White Sox aren't trading Luis Robert Jr. In fact, let's hear it real quick.
Are you sure I said that?
Exercise this option.
Yeah.
So they're keeping him.
Yeah, they're keeping him. That's you. Hold on one more time.
Exercise this option.
That's right.
So they're keeping him.
That's Tiki. No offense. What do you think of the Mets bringing in Luis Robert Jr.? You like it?
Yes, because it's a move you had to make. You had to get defensively better. I think moving on from Luis Angel Acuna, while a lot of people thought he was a prospect, as we said in our pre-show meeting, as Sean said, I'm the only small guy that hates on other small guys. Because the reason I didn't think he would be a star, maybe at second base he could have done so, but as a center fielder, he just felt small to me. And so moving on from him, while somewhat disappointing, I think, for Met fans who saw him as a prospect who could be a contributor for this team for a long time, I'm okay with that. Luis Robert Jr. is more proven. He gives you a center fielder who you can truly depend on a day-to-day basis. And so it's a great move for the Mets. I just didn't think it would happen. But I'm glad for you. I'm happy that it happened for you all.
It's a low-risk move.
Yeah.
Like, Luis Robert Jr. has sucked for the last 2 years, and he also doesn't stay healthy.
Yes,
that's a fact.
It's also playing for the White Sox.
I agree. And I think there's a real chance, and I remember saying this a lot over the last year and a half, because this is one of those trades where it's been rumored for so long, so this is not the first time we're talking about Luis Robert Jr. I think he's got great change of scenery potential.
Yeah.
You know, you put him in a hardworking locker room with guys like Juan Soto and even Marcus Semien, who's known as a hard worker. There's a chance Luis Robert Jr. is just going to find himself in a better room. So I think there's a chance for a high reward. 2 years ago, Luis Robert Jr. was an emerging all-star, but I cannot lie about the fact that last year he was bad. The year before that, he was bad, and he's never healthy.
Yeah, but the year before that, he was kind of great.
Exactly. He provides to you this high upside, but you hit on something else. They needed a center fielder. I mean, right now, the Mets, for weeks and months, as we've analyzed this team, had one real outfielder, one real starting outfielder in Juan Soto. And so they needed like a real major league outfielder. He's a great defender. So even if he doesn't hit and he never goes back to the 23 form, you know that he's a plus defender in center field.
Right.
And it's only money. Like, yes, Steve Cohen's going to pay him $20 million a year. And is a guy worth $20 million a year if they hit 195 through June? No. But if Steve Cohen is willing to spend it, and certainly I'm willing to spend it because I'm a dopey season ticket holder, then the only risk you're really providing is financial. And if he could ever be 75% of the player he was in 2023, that's huge for the Mets. And it would also be a major upgrade over what they had in center field last year. The Mets' production in center field last year was putrid. And let me just put this in perspective for everyone who knows Luis Robert Jr.'s numbers and how bad they are. Those numbers are a significant upgrade over the garbage they got in center field last year.
Right.
They got nothing production-wise out of center field last year, whether it was Jose Siri, Cedric Mullins, even Tyrone Taylor, who we like, and even Jeff McNeil, who did it every once in a while. So it's a high upside move. It's got a chance to work out. Luckily, they didn't give up a lot. And there is limited risk, in my opinion, on a trade.
And
like
the reason
this
is it feels somewhat it's risky, as you mentioned, because of the numbers. But just for context, if you don't know off the top of your head, in 2023, when he hit 38 home runs, he had a 260 or 270 batting average, whatever the number was. He played well. They won 61 games. The following year, the White Sox won 41 games.
Yeah, historically bad. Yeah,
historically bad. And
Yes.
then last year, which was another down year for the White Sox and for Luis Robert Jr., they won 60 games. So in the last 3 seasons, they've barely won 170 games.
And you think this being in an environment, even though the Mets aren't world beaters, they're significantly better than Chicago, this will change things?
My point is when you're in a place that seemingly doesn't care about winning, how do you not fall victim to apathy.
Yeah.
You fall victim to, all right, well, they don't care, so why should I care? And so you almost, it's weird because you almost stop trying, and that should get you traded. But in order to get traded, you actually have to be better than the than what's around you. You know what I mean? So I can see how it was a no-win situation for him.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, where am I going with my career, with my life? I'm gonna troll away on a terrible team for year over year over year, and they seemingly want to keep me, as my point, which we made earlier. And so now this could be a new lease on life for him, and an opportunity on a massive stage, because it's New York. Even though the Mets, are kind of riding a roller coaster about making the postseason and not, it's a massive stage if he has the motivation to be what he was in 2023.
Yeah, we said this about Bo Bichette. If you look ahead at the next 3 or 4 off seasons, there's nothing in terms of position player free agents.
Right.
And so why it makes sense for Tucker to re-enter free agency in 2 years or Bo Bichette in 1 year is that they'll be the kings of free agency. If Luis Robert Jr. has a big year this year and next, because the Mets have a team option on him next year,
yes,
he could enter free agency as a 29-year-old stud.
Right.
And he'd have a chance, as crazy as it sounds, to get mega money. So yes, there's a big opportunity in front of Luis Robert Jr. Cody Bellinger, let's just address this. Here's my view on the Mets with Bellinger, and obviously Yankee fans, this very much involves you. I don't think the Mets are out on Cody Bellinger, but I don't think they're nearly as in as some want them to be. I believe the Mets probably have an offer out to Bellinger. That's a short-term, high AAV deal, and the Mets deep down know he's not taking it.
It's not happening.
They know he's probably taking the long-term offer, which as of right now, we've only heard is from the New York Yankees.
Right.
And so I believe the Mets realizing that say, well, let's move. We've been talking about Robert Jr. for a year and a half. Let's go get him. If Cody Bellinger and Scott Boras represents Robert Jr. as well, just for the record, if that matters.
Surprise.
Oh, such a surprise. If Scott Boras shocks the world and says, hey, Mets, Cody likes the short-term deal, then, yeah, I guess Cody Bellinger would be a Met, and we would talk about how he would fit. Does he play first base? Does he play left field? But Met fans, don't expect that. Yankee fans, for you guys out there, this very much involves you, even though you've been watching an offseason that doesn't involve you because you're not losing guys like the Mets, but you're also not gaining guys like the Mets. So it's a lack of roller coaster in this offseason. I believe your chances of signing Cody Bellinger today feel stronger than yesterday.
Yeah, unless there's something happening with Toronto. Unless there is somebody quietly piecing together an offer for Cody Bellinger. And you know what? I get the gut that there is, because why would he not just sign with the Yankees?
Because of the same reason Scott didn't just have Pete sign with the Mets last year until it was, February?
But if nothing else is coming.
Nothing was coming with Pete, Tiki.
True, but if the phone's not ringing, how can you make him wait?
Because we
were less than a month, dude.
Here's why. And I see both sides of this. I'm going to be the independent contract negotiator.
Okay, what is that? The
ICN.
ICN.
Yeah.
ICNO.
ICNO. Right. I'm the INCO or whatever it is. The Yankees.
ICNO.
Thank you. The Yankees are smart. They shouldn't negotiate against themselves. As long as there is not another long-term offer out there for Cody Bellinger, they'd be buffoons to just give him what he wants.
Agreed.
So the Yankees, you're doing it right, as frustrating as it may be for some Yankee fans. On the other side of your Scott Boras, you know the Yankees aren't pivoting. There's no pivot. There's no guy, now that Bo Bichette is gone, for the Yankees to say, screw you, Cody, we're going to sign this guy. So Scott knows the Yankee offer is going to be there until the very end. So what's the rush? He can wait for, hey, maybe the Mets make a crazy offer. They won't. Hey, Toronto, maybe they make a crazy offer. We'll see. Maybe the Dodgers petition Major League Baseball to have a 10th position player. So I see why Scott's waiting, and I also see why the Yankees are waiting. And I know this is tough to hear for the Yankee fan who really wants Cody Bellinger back. This, to me, feels, and I've been saying this for a while now, like an inevitable stare down that you're going to win. Like, you're going to get him back.
All the leverage is in the Yankees' corner right now. It doesn't feel like there's going to be a surprise. We want to spend this money on Cody Bellinger team, and it's going to steal him from the Yankees. So you're right. So it's just playing the waiting game.
I think so. And with the Mets, again, it's not that I think they're definitely out. I think they have a short-term offer out for Cody that they're pretty sure he's not going to accept. So we'll move on. And if Cody Bellinger shocks us and signs them, that's a great problem.
But clearly they're moving on in some capacity. Like Luis Robert Jr. trading for him is not a move instead of Cody Bellinger.
Correct.
It is just a little insurance in case he doesn't want our deal.
And if Cody Bellinger ever picked the Mets with their current roster, I think it would take an offseason, which I think is still very debatable among Met fans, and bring it to another level. Because all of a sudden, Cody Bellinger may be the first baseman. But I don't expect it. In fact, Met fans, I expect that from a position player standpoint, this is it, right? We've been talking for months that David Stearns is doing a painting. And at first, the painting looks like feces on a wall. But we need to wait. We need to wait until we see what the feces looks like. I believe with this lineup.
I don't care what it looks like. It's still going to smell like, you know what?
Feces. Well, to a guy like Joe, it's still going to smell. Pete's gone. So to the Met fan, do you like it? Do you like the painting? Forget the pitching for a second, because I think it's
There's
separate.
no way the Met fan likes the painting of it.
Of the
you
offense.
know that.
Well, I don't know that.
There's no way.
Teak, I talk to Met fans all the time with the Rico. They like hey, it's different. We got Bo Bichette.
It's different. You got Jorge Polanco playing first base, who plays a second baseman and a shortstop.
I understand. But they also got a real center fielder and a gamer in Bo Bichette.
Okay, so if you're
with a big home run in the seventh game of the World Series.
Yeah, no, you're right. But if you're buying into what David Stearns was preaching at the end of last season, which is we need run prevention, we need all these other things, what have you done?
Oh, no, I'll address that. So here's where you're half right and half wrong. I believe defensively, because that's the run prevention thing we're all talking about, the Mets have created questions at first base, third base, and left field. No question about it.
Right.
We don't know who the first baseman is. It's the guy who's never played the position. The third baseman is another guy, Bo Bichette, who's never played the position, even though I think he'll be fine. And as of right now.
But you still have Beatty.
Right, but Brett Beatty's not playing third base. I think he's going to play left field, which is another position he's not familiar with. So those are all fair, and those are all contradictory to David Stearns' comments. Here's where you're half wrong.
Go ahead.
I would argue right now, and I haven't gone through every team in baseball, the up the middle of shortstop, second base, and center field defensively is as good as it gets. With Lindor, Simeon, and Robert Jr., where they've upgraded, their defense up the middle is chef's kiss.
You're forgetting one position, though.
Catcher?
Pitcher.
Oh, well.
He's also up the middle.
I'm not forgetting it. I'm putting it aside because clearly they're going to add somebody.
Yeah,
I
you
just
could
don't
do
know who.
something. Right. There's still room to do that.
Yeah, pitching matters with run prevention.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm just saying to the Met fan right now, the lineup, which has gone through major changes, I think is mostly done. And so what do you think of the painting now when it comes to the lineup? Leave the pitching out for a second because you're right. They're going to make a move. I don't know who it is. Is it trading for Freddie Peralta? Is it signing Framber Valdez? Is it signing Lucas Giolito? I don't know, but I think we'd all agree they're going to do something.
Yes.
The lineup, and even put the bullpen aside because I don't feel good about it. I wish Edwin Diaz was back. No doubt about it. When it comes to the position players, when it comes to the defense and the offense, what does the painting look like? Is it a good painting? You tell me, Tiki.
It's not as powerful offensively and as it was a year ago.
They've lost power.
Yeah.
Agreed with you.
It's probably more consistent.
They added more contact.
Yes.
Even with Robert Jr., who strikes out 1,000,000 times, they will strike out less as a team this upcoming season than last because of Polanco, Bichette, and Simeon compared to what they lost, even though Simeon's a downgrade from McNeil.
Well, do you need to be a bludgeoner in Major League Baseball in 2025, or 2026, I should say, in order to be successful? Can you small ball your way to success week in or day in and day out? That's the question that Met fans are going to have to ask and then wait and see if it works. Now, obviously, it changes if your pitching is right and you're not worried about hitting 3 home runs a game in order to win.
No, I agree, but don't you think last year the Mets offense did not do enough? And ultimately it was the lack of clutch hitting.
There were too many moments in clutch times where the guys you counted upon, this Juan Soto, not necessarily Pete because I think he was mostly okay, but the guys you counted upon just didn't come through.
Right.
And so if they're not going to come through having a big extra base hit, get on base.
Right.
And then let the next guy do it. So they're more positioned to do that this season, but it just doesn't feel exciting. And so the only way you're going to believe it is until you start seeing it, and they're winning games because of it.
You are much more cultured than I am, much more cultured than Sean, but we are using the painting analogy.
Yes.
I'm sure
I
you
would have said mud.
What?
Instead of feces, I would have said like mud.
Sorry.
Then you could like color it a little bit. Throw some food coloring and some mud, and then it changes as it dries. Looks a little different. You went feces?
Yeah, I went feces because it felt like feces when Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso left on back-to-back days. Here's my answer to, hey, what does the painting look like offensively? You know when you go to a museum and you look at a painting and you really have no idea what you're looking at? And you squint your eyes and you're like, wow, that actually does look good. But then you unsquint your eyes and you're like, that doesn't look good?
Yes.
Also, 2 a.m. at a bar. Very
Yes,
similar.
exactly. The hand signal.
That's what I kind of feel like. Like, there are moments where I squint my eyes and I look at the clutch numbers of the guys they added, and I say, oh, this could be better. And then there are times in which I'm like, but I love Pete Alonso. And he hits 1 million home runs, and he puts the fear of God in other teams, and no one in this lineup does that they added. And so where I'm at right now is I'm not screaming and yelling that this is the worst thing in the world because I'm not convinced of it. But I'm also not excited that it's the best thing in the world. I'm like squinting because it looks so different.
It's different. That's it.
Bro, it is so different. And sometimes different is good.
Yeah.
And sometimes difference is bad.
And put it this way. It is not as if the Mets broke up a World Series team here to reshape and be different.
Right.
And I think that's what everybody has to remind them.
They
So that's
broke
still
up an 83-win team
Right.
that didn't make the postseason.
And they made the NLCS the year before, but it was already a little different, right? When you talk about Iglesias and Martinez. This is different, and different could catastrophically be worse. Luis Robert could be terrible, and you realize that he's a complete flameout, and Polanco stinks at first, and Bichette's gone in here. Or all that lack of power everybody's talking about, what if they're just in rhythm, and they're having more of these innings where 7 guys get to the plate because it's connect the dots, and that becomes a fun baseball team where difference are right. And oh, by the way, if you get through and you are a big-time contender with this new lineup, you know what you could do at the trade deadline? Add that little bit of power you're missing for a team that has some to offer. And I think that's it. The Mets are different, but still going to be an unfinished product. If they're contending, they will only add to it.
How do you feel, Met fans? The painting, when it comes to the position players, I think is mostly done. Does it feel better? Does it feel worse? Or are you like me? You're squinting and you're not exactly sure. You just know it looks very, very different.